falls in.
Television viewers were transfixed by programs which told for the first time how people really lived.
Настолько сел у нас грибок, видите, это еще сравнительно очень хорошо. А канализация у нас в туалете может замерзнуть, так как у нас на кухне не отопляется, там нужно топить печку, а печи не топят. Они вот-вот рухнут, вот печка. Замазываем, подмазываем. Говорят, что у нас еще более-менее нормальные условия, живут хуже.
Yevgeny Mikhaev, a Moscow fishmonger, was taken aback by all this frankness.
It really was a shock. In the past, we'd always told jokes among ourselves, and we laughed about all the things that were wrong and we didn't like. But we did it among friends, and now suddenly here it all was on TV.
Further Gorbachev reforms began challenging the state's total control over the economy. Yevgeny Mikhaev, who for 20 years had worked in this large state-run food shop, embraced the opportunities Gorbachev presented.
Gorbachev said, "Come on, wake up, make some money, organize your own cooperatives." It was good. I even set up my own little business. I liked it because I was responsible. I was feeding my family myself. I was free of the state. I was independent.
But in many places, political freedom was the primary goal. All across the Soviet Union, long-suppressed nationalism burst into the open. Soon the Gorbachev revolution was spinning out of control. In Eastern Europe, the party had been kept in power by Moscow's past willingness to send in the tanks. When Gorbachev removed that threat, the first cracks appeared. In Hungary, new leaders began to dismantle the old political system, even allowing people to take down sections of the Iron Curtain. In Poland, Solidarity, whose popular support had never been destroyed, forced the government to hold free elections. They swept to power. But a cluster of old-style regimes from Romania to East Germany still seemed firmly in charge. In Berlin, the East German leadership celebrated 40 years of communism as if nothing had changed. Most East Germans, like Barbara Reinke, knew differently.
People were quieter.
Ruhiger. Ich sag's einfach mal, ruhiger.
Previously, you would always celebrate the 7th of October, and you'd be forced to be cheerful. But that day, there was something in the air.
The crowds chanted for the visiting Gorbachev, not for their own die-hard leaders.
Gorbachev was our great hope. Even down here in my street, someone had sprayed Gorbachev on the wall. We had such hopes of him.
Just a couple of blocks from the official pageantry, a counter-demonstration was broken up by the police.
In the Schönhauser Allee, people were being beaten. Plainclothes police took truncheons out of their pockets and beat up those youngsters. I thought, finally I can do something. I can stand up and support these people. I don't have to sit around at home. Now I can do something.
Despite the police tactics that night, the demonstration spread. People who for years had passively accepted the status quo felt brave enough to take a stand. And with the opposition swelling, the party was driven into making hurried concessions.
Just after 7 p.m., I was having my dinner in our canteen. We had a black and white television, and I watched the press conference on it.
The party had decided to let people travel to the West, but the spokesman failed to announce that the visas needed would not be issued until the next morning.
Das tritt nach meiner Kenntnis ist das sofort. Unverzüglich.
When he turned the bit of paper and said something like, as I understand it, immediately, I thought, immediately? That's impossible. He's talking nonsense.
Here at home I screamed so loud, even though I was all alone. I screamed, the wall is open.
As thousands made their way to the west, Barbel Reinke set out for the Brandenburg Gate. On a night of confusion, she found herself blocked by a line of border guards.
Ich bitte Sie. An wen denn? Wer ist zuständig? Bitte zeigen Sie mir den, wenn ich mich erinnere. Wir wissen, wie lange wir gewartet haben.
I became terribly frightened and thought they'd tricked us again.
Ich kann nicht mehr! Ich habe mir einmal in meinem Leben gewünscht, durch dieses Brandenburger Tor zu gehen. Und zwar in den anderen Teil zu gucken. Ich war noch nie da drüben. Ich fühlte mich wirklich mit ihm als ein Block stehen.
I felt he was a block.
Und mich nicht vorbeinassen. Uns nie mehr
I thought, never again will someone say, you can't go through here. You're not allowed to go there. You're not allowed to do that. No more. I'm going through.
Later that night, Barbel achieved her ambition. Both East and West Berlin exploded in joy.
Das war für mich so unfassbar. Ich muss es ehrlich sagen, mein Mann hatte keine Lust mehr noch mitzukommen. Ich sage, lass uns einmal an so einem historischen Tag einmal mit dabei sein.
Die hat mich angerufen, nach dem...
Das ist ein wunderschöner Tag.
We talked later that night. Someone said, that's it. That's the end of the GDR.
Die Verabschiedung der DDR.
A Czech underground cartoon celebrated the revolutions. Poles, Hungarians, and East Germans had broken free. Now the Czechs tried to join them. Inspired by dissident playwright Václav Havel, huge crowds took over the capital every evening.
Zdravím jménem občanského fóra i všechny občany, kteří nejsou zde na pražském Václavském náměstí a sledují nás prostřednictvím televize.
Petr Miller z ČKD.
After a chance meeting with Havel, the factory worker Petr Miller became the workers' representative in negotiations with the government.
We were amazed at the reaction of our opponents at meetings. Here was someone who had all that power at his disposal and could control everything. Suddenly this man was sitting opposite you. He was very small, and he didn't have an idea.
The Czech party leadership, without the threat of the Red Army to back them up, was floundering.
Sometimes even Havel didn't know what to do.